For example, we know that the Hadith of Jibril alayhi sallam is one of the most fundamental teachings of our religion. And within it captures the main cornerstones, the main pillars of the deen. Of course, you all know the hadith, but allow me just to paraphrase the hadith for those that may not be recalling it clearly at this moment. There one time came to the Prophet ﷺ and a number of the Sahaba, a man wearing pure white robes, and he was walking in the desert. And he came and he greets the Prophet ﷺ, and he sits down, and it's said that his knees are touching the knees of the Prophet ﷺ, and his hands are either on his thighs or on the thighs of the Prophet ﷺ. And then he goes on to ask a series of questions to the Prophet. The first of which was, tell me, akhbirni, because he has the khabar, he has the news, the eternal news. Right? The Nabi of Allah, the Nabi in general, the Anbiya of Allah, they bring news, they bring khabar, they bring the times, the timeless times, not the New York Times, not the Washington Post, the timeless times, the news that doesn't change, the news that's always relevant. So he says, akhbirni, you're the Nabi, you have the khabar. Give me the news. What is Islam? And the Prophet ﷺ says, Islam is 5 things. The shahada of la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and the prayer, and the charity, zakat, and Sawm Ramadan, and the Hajj. Come on? And then he goes on, and then he says, Sadaqat. He affirms him. And the Sahaba were like scratching their temples here because they're thinking, this guy came out of nowhere. And he's asking questions to the Prophet ﷺ, the most knowledgeable of all of Allah's creation, Sayyid al-Khalq, the master of creation, and then he's affirming his answer, but they're kind of letting it go. Something's happening clearly. And then Jibril alayhi salam says, Akhbirni al-Iman, tell me about Iman. And then he goes on, and I'll paraphrase, he goes on and says the 6 arkan of Iman, belief in Allah and angels and the books, so on and so forth. Sadaq, you told the truth. Again, the Sahaba bewildered, but continuing to watch this interplay. Akhbirni al-Ihsan, tell me about Ihsan. What is excellence? What is the purest and most excellent way of worshipping Allah Ta'ala? And he says that you worship Allah as if you see Him. أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه وإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. That you worship Allah as if you see Him. That you're worshiping Allah, you go into the Salah, Allahu Akbar, as if you can see Him. And if you can't see Him, that you know that He sees you. Right? You know that He sees you. So that's ihsan. And so in these 3 dimensions, and there's a 4th dimension as well, in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he then tells me, tell me about the signs of the end of time, alamat as-sa'a. And he goes on to give a couple examples of the signs of the end of time. So there's actually 4 dimensions of the deen. And these dimensions correspond to your 4 dimensions. Incredibly. Because we have Islam, if you look at the 5 pillars of Islam, they're all physical things that you do. So they relate to the jism, relate to the physical body that you have. Right? Things that you pray, you worship God with the prayer, you pay zakat, you fast, you abstain from food during the month of Ramadan, you do the Hajj, which is physically rigorous for those that have gone. You know, even the Umrah can be difficult for some people. But the Hajj is demanding, it's a physical thing. You have to go to Mecca to do the Hajj. You can't do it from the couch. You can't couch surf. You can't put on your smart TV and just, I'm doing Hajj. You have to physically go there. So there's a physical dimension, a jismani dimension, and that becomes now the first level of your alignment. the first level of your centering, the jism, that I am here, and this has a right over me. The jism has a haqq over us, a right over us. And there's certain teachings of dinul fitra, of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and extrapolated by the hakims, by the Muslim physicians, to help people find their center individually. Because this is very important. We have to be able to balance the body if we're going to find center in chaotic times. If we're going to have health, hope, and harmony in our lives and bring that into the world, there has to be a physical dimension to our inner work. It's not all just cognitive, it's not all just emotional or spiritual. Our work has to be also respecting and honoring the physicality that Allah gave us, and through which the Sharia of Allah Ta'ala in the dimension of Islam is speaking to. But we don't stop there, right? We're not materialists either. We're not just looking at the body. The body is not the totality. It contains the totality, but there's more. And Iman speaks to that. When you believe, when you honor and testify to a reality that it is the most real thing in the cosmos, more real than this cup and this table and the lights and the sounds in the background and me speaking to you and you being there looking at me and all of this happening, all this phenomena happening right now. Kind of loud, isn't it? Lights, the tea's kind of hot. A lot of sensory experience now going on. It's kind of intense maybe. But even this physical existence, this physical sensory experience we're having right now is not the totality of it, because you know, and you can all go inside right now and be witness to Allah's existence and the existence of angels in this room right now. And they're more real than the cup, and they're more real than the mic, and they're more real than the lights. And those that can perceive such things tell us, they report to us those realities. But we have to align with the belief, at least, as a starting point. And of the books, and we have to believe in qadr, and we have to believe in these realities, destiny. You have to align the mind with these things until they become more concrete, more concretized in the body, and more sublimated at the higher level, which is ihsan, which is the level of the ruh. Right? So we have body, we have mind, and we have ihsan, which speaks to the spirit, the ruh that you have. And look how Islam, Iman, Ihsan is so fundamentally coherent to you. Dinul Fitra, it's so coherent to you. It aligns exactly with your makeup. It's like this perfect prescription from Allah Ta'ala for you.